Well, I got the truck back. It's a long story. It's been in the shop for about a month. Maybe I'll tell you about it someday. Yeah, this thing ain't cheap. I got some new cab mounts. Let's take a break and see if we could listen in on the ISS repeater channel 437.800. And according to the map, it should be coming across this direction. So maybe if I get out of the way of the tree, I have a little better luck. Let's see. Now give it a minute. Maybe a couple of minutes. There we go. It's coming in.
Yankee Bravo India, Kilo Echo 6 Hotel India, Juliet, Delta My 1.
Oh, that's something we can look at.
Yankee Bravo India, Kilo Foxtrot 0, November Kilo India, Echo Mike 39. Delta Lima 92, 73, thank you, contact. Whiskey 6 question mark, KB4 YKC, Echo Mike 90.
KC, Whiskey 6 Oscar Romeo, Echo Mike 12, Oscar 4, Papa Delta India, Echo Lima 99.
Whiskey 6 Oscar Romeo, KB4 YKC, Echo Mike 90, KO4 PDI, KB4 YKC, Echo Mike 90. Good afternoon again, Mike.
Kilo Oscar 4, Papa Delta India, Echo Lima 99.
Yeah, it's pretty much ready to hit the horizon over the Gulf, out towards South America. Well, I guess that's all we'll get today. Let's pause for a moment and look at sunspots.
On a sunny day, sunspots on the sun, a celestial beauty can be undone. Through filters and lenses, I'm caught in a trance, capturing sunspots, a cosmic romance.
I can never pass up an opportunity for some good sunspots. Yeah, I had a much better time with using my scanner to scan ISS flying overhead than I do with my SDR. And the primary reason is SDR is located indoors here in this office, and I've got it on, the antennas here inside. I did get some audio because I did record the SDR. This was a little bit better. I can track it. I know the trajectory of ISS and I can kind of follow it. And when the signal gets a little kind of wonky, I can move the antenna around. I can't do that with the SDR in its current configuration. So that's why I did that. I might take the laptop outside and put the antenna outside and play with it that way. But, Texas heat, well, it's hot. Now, one of the most unusual things I find is when I'm on this frequency, or there are a couple of other frequencies that I'll call up, and when this camera is on, it's evidently emitting at this frequency. And when I do an autofocus, watch this. Yeah, so that was every time I was pressing autofocus. Yeah, see, it would it interferes. So I can't use this camera in close proximity to this thing because it's jamming. It's jamming. But if you were to tune into 437.800 when ISS is traveling overhead, and I'll leave some links below where you can get the web address for when ISS is flying by and all that. You can kind of plan through all that. You can kind of listen to ham operators and copy down their call sign and kind of see where they're coming from. Now, we're going to do that right now. Now, I'll give you the link to the FCC call sign lookup table. I think it's public record who has a particular radio license. So if you typed in the call sign, it would come up. Their name, anyway, and their location. But let's take a look and see where a couple of those really strong signals were coming from. I'll tell you, they weren't coming from Texas. Okay, one of them, when I looked it up, it says he's in Mexico. So when I look it up under the FCC, I don't think I saw anything with that call sign, but QRZ, which is a good source, and I'll leave a link down below, it's qrz.com. Just look up the call sign and you'll see who it is. Yeah, see, when you're looking it up under the FCC, no matches found. Okay, now here's one that I looked up. It's KF0NKI, and I'm going to block out some of the more personal information, but you could see he's coming from Chillicothe, Missouri. Aaron is out there in Missouri. I'm here in Texas, and I could hear him. That's pretty cool. Here's another one. Now, this is KO4PDI, Michael Randazzo. He's in Palm Coast, Florida. So a guy from Missouri was talking to a guy in Florida while bouncing their signals off of ISS, getting it repeated by ISS. And a guy in Texas was able to hear it. And if I keyed up, I could talk to them too. I think that's pretty cool. Okay, Whiskey 6, Oscar Romeo. He's just down the road in Hurst, Texas. Now, as you can see, as a hobby, that can be a lot of fun. I mean, you're trying to make contact with people around the country. You're bouncing your signal off of a repeater, in effect, that's hundreds of miles away up in space, and it's bouncing back down and you're reaching somebody on the other side of the country. So you saw that, right? Missouri to Florida to Texas, that whole region that was in the footprint of ISS at that time. And what that footprint represents is that it's over the horizon. So all of those areas were at least at the horizon, the radio could reach it. And they were bouncing all over the place. It can be fun. I can see how important something like that would be in an emergency. If cell phones all went down, if something went all sideways, and as long as ISS was still flying around and I had batteries, I could take my handy talkie, tune in, listen to what's going on, and hopefully, rather than people trying to exchange call signs, because that's kind of a thing, we could be talking about what the heck just happened. And that's why I listen. I just want to hear, especially now that hurricane season is hitting Florida. I'll be listening to Florida as much as I can to see when a hurricane is getting into that area, to see what kinds of problems are going on. That's just kind of interesting. That's real news because it's actually happening. It's not some news reporter faking it out in the field like it's going to knock them over. You've seen that before, right? So it's the real deal. It's actually happening, and you'll be better informed. That's why I have a handy talkie. That's why I have a scanner. That's why I have an SDR. If you want any of that kind of stuff, if you want to experiment and play with some of that stuff, I'll have links below. If you go to my Amazon store, I have a store dedicated to radio stuff, and all the links are there. You can click. These things are relatively inexpensive. $20, $30, you can be ready to go. I think I spent, for two of them, I spent $34 for two. So my wife could have one, I can have one. And if you get something like GMRS, which is very low cost, but that one license covers your family. And that was the reason why I got this inexpensive radio, because in case something did happen to it, it didn't, break the bank. Because some of those radios are pretty darn expensive. But this way, I could key up, I could hit a repeater, I could talk to my wife, she could talk to me in case cell phones go down, all that kind of thing. Couldn't get in on a landline. By the way, When was the last time you saw a landline? I don't see them all that often. So a radio will do you good.
Wednesday night, partly cloudy in the evening.
And even if you only use them to check the weather, it's valuable.
Chance of showers.
That's all I got for you today. We'll see you next time.